It's a story called The Pressures of Being on the Road, and it takes place in 1978. We were on the Farewell to Kings tour and doing only our second ever tour of the United Kingdom. Our star continued to rise in 1978. The Farewell to Kings was generally well received, and Closer to the Heart even broke into the top 40 on UK radio. Who knew? That was the year the Glasgow crowd blew us away by singing along on the chorus. The first time anything like that had ever happened to us. We played 2 nights at the Apollo there, a classic old theater built in 1927 with Corinthian columns and a severe rake on the stage. In thespian parlance, a raked stage is one that's tilted towards the audience. Hence the directive, put that downstage left, where I'm standing right now and where I've pretty much spent my entire life. It was also really high, 15 feet, 6 inches to be precise, so that if you stood at the edge, you almost got vertigo. At face level opposite, there was a balcony that had been built to bounce up and down. And I can tell you, those Glaswegians knew it. Many bands who played that place have testified that when the crowd put the bouncy balcony to the test, trampolining with all their might, you stood there in fear that it would surely collapse. The great advantage of playing 2 nights in the same venue is that the crew doesn't have to pack up and load out after the first show, giving them a night off and us a rare opportunity to unwind together. And so it was on a February night in Manchester in 1978 that we convened in the bar of the Piccadilly Hotel. For a while, Alex had not been very happy. His second son, Adrian, had been born the year before, and he was missing home big time. Out of the blue, he challenged our stage manager, Lurch, a towering man, 6'11" in height, with a tough constitution, to a cognac drinking contest. Now, cognac is usually around 40% alcohol, and it's for sipping. No one in their right mind knocks it back in shots, but I think I counted a dozen rounds. Soon words were slurred, voices were raised, and when a clearly plastered Alex triumphantly slammed yet another glass on the table, he shattered it. I looked at Liam, his roadie, and Howard, our tour manager, and said, "You better get him to his room." So they put his arms around him and suggested it was time for bed, not least because we had another gig to do the next day. Those of us remaining in the bar had a laugh about it, of course, and then decided enough was enough for us too. But as we were waiting for the elevator, the doors opened and out flew Alex, lying prone on a room service card. Cue more lunatic laughter, and once again, Liam and Hearns rounded him up and escorted him to his room, which was next to mine. Sitting on my bed, I could hear shunting and crashing through the wall like he was moving furniture around. And then I heard him yelling out to the street, "Hey, England! You guys are stupid! You're all living 1,000 years ago. Hey you, can you hear me?" I opened my window and leaped out and said, "Lurks, buddy, go to sleep now, it's late." Dirk, can you believe this? These people are living 1,000 years ago." I said, "Yeah, okay, Lurks, I know, but come on, close your window." I closed mine and began undressing, but he kept calling my name, and then I heard more smashing sounds. He torn down the curtains and was soon leaning out of his window, tapping on mine with the metal curtain rod. Dirk, don't go, open your window." Now, I'm half naked now. I've pulled back my curtains when the pane cracked apart. showering my room and me with splinters of glass. I looked down to see a 3-inch triangular shard stuck in my tidy whities, about an inch from my effing manhood. I gingerly removed it, and then I heard scuffling in the hallway and a hubbub all over the hotel floor. So I tiptoed over the broken glass to the door, and I looked through the peephole just in time to get a fisheye view of a nearly naked Alex running down the hallway with Hearns and Liam chasing after him. They were just hustling him back into the room when 2 security guards charged out of the elevator and banged on his door. He opened up, the curtain draped over him like a gauzy toga, obstinately denying that he'd been making any disturbance at all. He slurred, "Well, I just don't give a shit." And then he spat on one of them. As we all cringed, mortified, Hearns did his best to placate them, earnestly apologizing and promising to sort it all out. He urged them to talk it over in my room, but when I opened the door, there for all to see was glass strewn about the carpet. Somehow, Hearns got them down to the manager's office, reassuring them of our normally upstanding character, and promising to pay for the damages, and that saved us from being booted out in the middle of the night. But I curled up under the blankets in that room, with no window, splinters everywhere, and fell asleep as the cool February air rushed in. The next day, poor Alex was so embarrassed and humiliated, to put it mildly, even though he knew it was just one of those things that happens when a person is at breaking point. In a fragile state, we left to do our second show, and when we returned, he went up to each and every employee, shook their hands, and apologized. That's a nice Canadian move. Perhaps because he was so sincere that they were more than cool about it and even promised to welcome us back next time we were in town. But the following morning, we still left Manchester with our tails tucked between our legs. Thank you. I would like to thank him so much. We're not finished with you yet. We're going to take a 15-minute break, and then we'll come back and answer your questions. In the meantime,